So here they go. They ate into the ark. They and every beast, what? After his kind, and of all cattle after their kind, and of every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth after his kind, and every fowl after his kind, every bird of every sort. So again, we see the focus in the Bible. The only animals that were brought onto the ark were the ones that were after their kind, after their species. Now that might make you wonder, are there some that were not after their kind? The Bible says, and they went in unto Noah into the ark, 2 and 2 of all flesh, wherein is the breath of life. Well, that appears there must have been some animals that were not after their kind. How about that one? Have you seen that animal? No, that's a Photoshop creation. But back before the flood, apparently they were doing more than photoshopping animals. They were doing genetic engineering like we are today. You may have heard of genetic engineering. Let me show you a genetically modified animal. Take a look at that mouse. Genetically modified mouse. Here's another one. Genetically modified mouse. We are modifying animals, mixing genes together and creating certain things. Jesus said in Matthew 24, verse 37, but as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. So apparently what's happening at the very end of time, before Christ comes back, was happening before the flood. Just as today we are doing genetic engineering, apparently they were doing it before the flood. Take a look at that animal. Does that look like something that God created? I don't know. You'd made me wonder, well, what happened? Did God mess up something somehow? That's a dinosaur. And apparently that particular guy was not brought on to the ark. You can see an ugly thing. Now, when you understand sacred history, you know that before the flood, they lived how long? 900 plus years. Today, we live, well, 70 years. So a scientist today, when he gets to be 50 years old, he's at the prime of life. 60 years old, he's at the prime of discovery. And at 65, he retires. And maybe at 70 or 75, he has a stroke and dies. And all that knowledge is gone. Imagine what a genetic scientist could discover if he were working on a project for 700 years or 800 years. What might he create or discover in that amount of time? They were brilliant back before the flood, and they used their brilliance not to glorify God. Here's another picture of one of those dinosaurs. Does it look pretty? I don't know. Jesus said, as it was in the days of Noah, so it shall be in the coming of the Son of Man. Now today we're doing genetic engineering. You know that. Here was an interesting news clipping from Telegraph News in the UK. The Jurassic Park scientists, you know Jurassic Park, that's this dinosaur movie. The Jurassic Park scientist who plans to turn a chicken into a T-Rex. T-Rex, that's a dinosaur. If scientists were to recover pieces of dinosaur DNA, as they do in the films, in the movie, there would not be enough detail to bring a T-Rex back to life. But advances in genetic engineering. Have you heard about genetic engineering? Advances in genetic engineering could result in the creation of dinosaurs on existing creatures. So scientists today are saying, well, maybe we could create dinosaurs just mixing the genes of some of the creatures we have. Here is from 2020. Scientists say they can recreate living dinosaurs within the next few years. I don't know, makes you scared to think about that, having some dinosaur come walking from somewhere. Creation of the scientist. Well, if a scientist can do that, a scientist that lives 60, 65 years. What could a scientist create who lived 6, 7, 800 years? That's why Jesus says, as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the coming of the Son of Man. Just what we're doing today, they were doing before the flood. And that's why when God brought the animals into the ark, God did not bring any of those genetically modified animals that had been created by the scientists by mixing genes together. All those dinosaur-type animals. So, we can answer the question. What happened to the dinosaurs? They all disappeared at the time of the flood. They were drowned. And now I think you can see why. They were not brought on the ark by God, because these were the creations of the genetic scientists. Now, we answered this question in one of our previous lectures. I wanted to take a moment. What happened? Is it our connection or the power? The question is, did the dinosaurs live contemporaneous with humans? In other words, did the dinosaurs live at the same time as humans lived on Earth? And to answer that, I want to read from AP News, Associated Press, 2005. Scientists recovered T-Rex soft tissue. And the subtitle says, 70 million year old fossil yields preserved blood vessels. One thing we know, that cannot be 70 million years old, because if it's 70 million years old, it would either have petrified or decayed. So it's probably just a few thousand years old. Is the light on? Okay, well, put your hand in front of the light and see if it's shining on your hand. Is it coming on? All right, there it is. Must have been a blink in the electricity. Projectors don't like those blinks. It's a good way to burn out a bulb. Here you can see the soft tissue. This isn't 70 million years old. This is soft tissue like they discover in the Egyptian mummies that are, 4,000 years old or so. Here is that photograph I showed you earlier of the dinosaur footprint right on top of a human footprint. This was discovered, an archaeological discovery in the year 2000. And this one scientist said, co-occurrence of men and dinosaurs, if they lived at the same time, he said, if that's true, evolution would be vanquished. So there you're looking at the vanquishing of evolution. Now we have the evidence from the rocks. What happened to the dinosaurs? Well, they were destroyed by the flood. That's a common question. That's why I put together some slides for that. Someone has asked the question, if Antichrist is a kingdom, the Bible says there are many, and the Antichrist will come from the church. So are there many kingdoms? We haven't yet answered that, have we? Have we answered who the Antichrist is? Not yet. When is that? Have you looked at the schedule? Well, you look at your schedule. It's on the schedule. If you didn't get a schedule, we have them in the back. It's this coming week. And we will answer that question. You just keep coming. When we talk about the Antichrist, we'll find the answer. Someone has asked the question, during Adam's time, did Adam and Eve have the knowledge of the fallen angel Satan? Probably so. We don't have any Bible text that concretely tells us that, but the Bible does say in Revelation 12:12, woe to the inhabitants of the earth. So no doubt God warned Adam and Eve of this fallen angel. It was not without a warning that they were tempted. Here's a question that I believe we'll answer tomorrow morning. How can I overcome sex addiction? Because I have been trying, but I always fail. Well, you need to come tomorrow morning. We're going to look at the 3 steps to heaven. And in that, we'll look at the 5 keys to victory over whatever the addiction is you're struggling with. You be here in the morning. We'll answer that. Well, I have more questions, but I think I'll end here. and we are going to shift over to our other program. Is there a choir tonight? If not, we're going to do the quiz. Anybody need a quiz card? Yes, I see some hands. We'll ask our helpers to pass a quiz card to you. This is from, not last night, but Wednesday night. New Age cults and the devil's door. Everybody have a question now? A question card, a quiz card. 5 questions. Question 1. List one of the identifying marks of a cult. And you do have permission from your prophecy professor to use your notes for the answer. List one of the identifying marks of a cult. How many were there? There were 4. So you just have to list one of them. Some of you are looking at me like, huh? If you were not here Wednesday night, then it's a huh? You can just put for number 1, huh? I don't know. If you were here, well, I hope you remember one of those 4 identifying marks of a cult. List one of them. Question 2 is much easier. It's just true or false. Death is a friend because it releases the soul from its prison, the body. True or false? Death is a friend because it releases the soul from its prison, the body. Question number 3. True or false? Satan told the first lie to mankind when he said to Eve, "You will not surely die." Satan told the first lie to mankind when he said to Eve, "You will not surely die." Is that true or false? Question 4 is a yes or no. Can the devil impersonate dead people so that they will seem to reappear after death? Can the devil do that? Can the devil impersonate, the devil or one of his demons, impersonate dead people so that they will seem to reappear after death? Yes or no? And question 5 is a multiple choice. According to the Bible, what is to be our hope after death? A UFO or cloud of light that will take us to the next level. B, reincarnation. C, the resurrection when Jesus comes. So A, B, or C. According to the Bible, what is to be our hope after death? A UFO or cloud of light that will take us to the next level. B, reincarnation. C, the resurrection when Jesus comes. Now let's see how well you did. You can grade your own quiz. Just be honest with yourself. Number 1. What's one of those identifying marks? Deceived on the state of man in death. Follow a human teacher. Group conformity. All right, well, if you got one, there they are, the 4 of them. Cults follow a human leader rather than Jesus. Cults follow human teachings rather than the Bible. They urge group conformity, and they're deceived about death. Number 2, what's the answer, true or false? That is false. Number 3, is it true or false? That is true. Number 4, yes or no? Yes, he can do that. And number 5, according to the Bible, what is to be our hope after death? Is it A, B, or C? C, the resurrection when Jesus comes. How many got 100% on the quiz? All right, you did pretty good, even with number 1. We'll ask our helpers to collect your quiz with your questions, prayer requests. We're going to sing this song while they do that. Great is thy faithfulness. If you know the song, sing with me. Great is thy faithfulness, O God my Father. There is no shadow of turning with thee. Thou changest not. but thy compassions, they fail not. As thou hast been, thou forever wilt be. Great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hand hath provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me. Pardon for sin